Good morning, folks. How are we today? Hope we're all well. Now, I don't normally start with a viewer's comment unless it's a super chat. But Greg in the audience, has asked, does anyone know if there's a place where you can search the topics David and Gordon Ross have covered, like the Jers and the claim of right? The Jers, that's a simple one. You go to your search engine, you type in latest Jers figures, and up will come the actual document for you to download for the government website. And on the Jers figures, look at typing in Jers figures, latest Jers figures analysis. And that'll give you a breakdown as seen by the unions. But you got to remember, when you're reading them, they have been written deliberately to make Scotland look poor. So look at how much of Scotland's income is actually attributed to union services and things like that. Now, on the claim of right, that's a wee bit more complicated. I don't know whether you're talking about the 1320 claim of right or the 1989 claim of right. Both are as legitimate as each other. One gives us the right to depose a king, a monarch, and replace them with somebody who suits us better. And the other one gives us the modern right to choose the form of government that suits us best. But you can look both of them up in your search engine. 1320 claim of right, 1989 claim of right. Okay. And then you can then type in legal authenticity of these things and get the information for yourself. It's no hard. Right, so I don't normally start on a comment, but that one's important. There is a place where you can go and get this information. It's called your search engine, and it's no difficult. Okay, let's take that down. Anyway, good morning, everyone. It's been an interesting 24 hours. By Christ, the right-wing white supremacists have had a fucking field day over the last 24 hours. So, because I don't need to mess about with Facebook, because I can't do nothing wait until after the video is finished, we'll get right into it. First up this morning, we have the Rancid. And the Rancid has, we need our own grooming gang probe. Plea, follow Starmer's U-turn down south. And this is a Labour MP who says that we need a grooming gang inquiry here. And I thought, okay, let's have a look. Well, we've had a couple of them, same as England and Wales has. And the outcome of the last one was in 2014, Police Scotland set up a child abuse task force. And it's been there ever since. Now, what does the task force cover? Physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, and all the groups that are carrying that out, whether it be grooming gangs or individuals. As we all know, stats tell us that you're more likely to be abused by a member of your family than what you're somebody out with your family. Do we need a grooming gang inquiry? I don't know. Why don't we go and talk to that task force that's been around for 11 years? Because if there are grooming gangs out there, that task force will have that information. They've been around for over a decade. Do we need an inquiry? Let's ask the task force. Let's see if it's an actual problem here in Scotland. That's the right place to ask. You see, we've had a couple of inquiries into these things in the past. They came after the Shetland scandals and the Western Isles scandals, where families had their children whisked away. They were accused of being in demonic cults and abusing their children and all that shit. Turned out to be rubbish. The parents and the children went through all sorts of stress. And of course the children had to be returned to these families because they'd done nothing wrong. So that's what led to the last inquiry we had. And that led to the setting up of the task force. Do we need another one? That gets more interesting as we go on. Because remember, I was talking about racists and white supremacists when we entered into this programme. So let's move on, shall we? Let's put the eye up and see what the eye's got for us this morning. Because that's the next paper in the review. Okay, now we know what direction we're going in. Right, here we go. No, maybe no. Right, the eye has generations of girls let down by police, councils, MPs who ignored UK grooming gangs. And MPs that ignored UK grooming gangs. Has the world gone fucking mad here? MPs didn't ignore it, they participated in it. Fucking ignored it. There was a culture of child abuse. Sexual exploitation of children and girls. Do people not remember the fucking 70s and 80s? All the beauty pageants and all that shite. Unbelievable. Donald Trump's throwing around fucking wee girls' dressing rooms as they were getting changed and things like that. Cyril Smith, Jimmy Savile, fuck knows how many more. MPs didn't ignore it, they fucking participated in it. Let down by police and councils, that's definitely the truth. But as I say, there was a culture of it, it was sort of accepted underneath the radar. Right, after the eye we have, according to this, it's the Times. So let's see if we can find the fucking Times. We want aim on us, I think. Yep, definitely got one aim on us. Nothing's where I put it. Right, the Times has ethnicity brushed aside in grooming gang inquiry. And this is where we get into this stoking the culture wars. Look at that. That's pretty tame, but that's the Times. Ethnicity brushed aside in grooming gang inquiries. Where do we get the fucking tabloids? This is all about them and us, folks. Forgetting the fact that grooming gangs are no just Middle Eastern men. They're no just people who have emigrated here from other parts of the world. They were quite indigenous, thank you very much. They were here before our Asian brothers and sisters arrived on our shores. But that's the start of it with the Times. Right, let's clear some of the debris away. Next up, with a Metro. What's the Metro got for us? Let's look. The Metro has Asian grooming gangs victims failed by blindness, ignorance, prejudice, and defensiveness. Were the victims of white grooming gangs no failed by the very same fucking things? This is what I'm talking about, the white supremacist shit and the them and us shit. This is what we call stoking the fire in these culture wars. Unbelievable. Well, actually, isn't it? It's well believable. Because the right have been othering others in this country for a long time. But they seem to have settled on the Middle Eastern population. Fucking outrageous. So we've had the Metro. Next up we have a Daily Fail. It goes from bad to worse, folks. It does go from bad to worse if I can find the fucking thing. Here we go. Finally, left-wing establishment accepts truth. Well, we know that's not true right away because we haven't had a left-wing establishment since Tony Blair. He moved the Labour Party to the centre and it's drifted right of centre ever since. So, finally, left-wing establishment accepts truth is rubbish. Conspiracy of silence over race doomed thousands of girls to abuse. Not fucking Disney. Just the conspiracy of silence condemned or doomed thousands of girls to abuse. I don't think the race was that important in it. Although there are cultural differences. But not much. But I can assure you folks, if there was Asian grooming gangs operating here, because they learnt from their white fellows in our society. Well, exploitation of children, exploitation of people isn't new to this planet. It's been going on since time started. But see, this nonsense is Farage, this nonsense is the right wing, this nonsense is about othering people. That's what that's about. Othering people. Yeah, let's take that down. We'll get a look at what the Telegraph got for us this morning. I don't know if it's any better than what that was. Yeah, let's look see what the Telegraph got for us this morning. See, I don't know if it's any better than what we've just seen. I really don't. I've been despairing of them this morning. The Telegraph, asylum seekers behind new grooming gang cases. That's interesting, eh? No doubt there'll be grooming and exploiting the rain. After all, a lot of these asylum seekers were exploited to get here. Had opened themselves up to exploitation to travel across the continent to get here. So I have absolutely no doubt there is a bit of truth in that. But asylum seekers behind new grooming gang cases. I wonder how many whites are involved in these grooming gangs and in these cases. Somebody's got to show these people where children are to be exploited. And I haven't read the Philip Baroness cases report. I've had a wee rough look at the outline. It'll take a while to read the whole report. But so far, I don't see fucking poverty being up there as one of the main causes. Because it is. Right, well, it's a Telegraph that failed. Some sanity, we've got the Scotsman next. And saying the sanities in the Scotsman is a fucking hard one. The Scotsman has union fury, as Swinney says, public sector has to shrink. Union fury. Union fury. I'll show you fucking union fury. Union fury. They were warned. They were told. The books were put on the table. This is what we can afford. If you want more, whose job's gone? You heard it in this programme. You heard it from the politicians. The books were put on the table. This is what we have. And you were also told in the public service, as your unions demand more than what the government can afford, look your colleague in the eye and ask, Whose job's gone? Mine or yours? This is where your trade unions exploited you for political ends. What was the political ends you lost your job for? That fucking headline. That's what you lost your job for, public servant. That fucking headline. Your union politically manipulated you on behalf of the Labour Party. The Scottish Government, the reason why we didn't have so many disputes up here was because they put the books on the fucking table and tell the employees, have a look. Have a look. And when their unions demanded more, we told the employees, look at each other in the eye, because this child of shite's going to have you laid off. And now it's happening. Public sector to shrink. The other thing about that is, did nobody watch that fucking austerity spending review? Did nobody pay any attention to the austerity spending review? Where public service increased spending was only enough to stand fucking still. Thank you, Stevie. Saves me doing it later. You ask ChatGPT a question about that. 90% of cases where ethnicity is recorded between 2023 and 2025, 90% of offenders are white. 7,353 offenders in total. Well, thank you, Stevie. I rest my case. This stuff is othering. It's stoking the culture wars. But let's get back to union fury. The fury should be fucking pointed towards the trade union and the Labour Party because we told you what was going to happen. The Scottish Government told you. I fucking told you what was going to happen. I told you when you were being manipulated by these unions. Look your colleague in the eye and ask whose fucking job's gone. And that's exactly what's happened. So it is. That's exactly what's happened. See, it's not as if we didn't tell people. It wasn't as if the Scottish Government wasn't honest with the employees and put the books on the table. They fucking did. Wow. Right, where we go after the Scotsman? The Herald. Let's see what nonsense this has got for us a day. Ministers in plan to save $1 billion a year by cutbacks on waste. What fucking waste? All the public services in Scotland, England, Wales and Northern Ireland have been cut to the fucking bone. When they're talking about saving £1 billion here, we're talking about people's jobs. Well, we did have an austerity spending review, which meant that each service was only going to get enough to stick where it's at the moment. Some get less, actually. There was eight ministries got their budgets cut. The rest, they go to mark time. Fucking no real. Okay. What's the loony rag the Express quotes for this morning? This one's a cracker, folks. Now, as you know, folks, we do these front pages every day. 5 days a week, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Same thing. We follow the front pages, Wait, you see this fucking total and utter lie on the front page of the Express. I'll put it up. And that's what I'm talking about, bare-faced lying. Victory for Express in fight to ensure Scots pensioners get full winter cash. Fuel payment humiliation as Swinney makes U-turn. Wow. Swinney makes U-turn. Let me fix that fucking headline for this fucking rag. For a start, winter fuel payment never stopped in fucking Scotland. It did reduce to £100, but the SNP government stepped in. As for fuel payment and humiliation, the Swinney makes U-turn. Swinney didn't say fuck all when Rachel Reeves made her announcement last week. When she made her U-turn, John didn't say nothing. He had to wait to find out whether he was going to get the consequentials for it. And the minute he found out he got the consequentials on Monday morning, he made a fucking speech in Glasgow to tell people, okay, if you turn down that road, the consequences are coming back, you're getting your full whack. At least, the interesting bit he said in Glasgow was at least as much as England and Wales. Will they get more? Well, generally here in Scotland we do, because the Scottish government's much better at working within budgets, because it fucking has to. It's illegal for the books not to balance at Holyrood. I know the rest of the UK won't understand that, but it's actual a legal requirement that Holyrood balances its books every single year. But that's an absolute lie. Not just a made up headline. The campaign that they're talking about to ensure that Scottish pensioners get their full winter fuel payment. That's bogus and all. We know that because we've been following these front pages 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. If they had the campaign gone, they'd had it on the front page. I mean, there's going to be a watchdog that can sort this shit out. These rags should not be allowed to blatantly lie for political gain of the right in this case, and the union in this case. Stevie, that might be a fair point. Maybe take it up with your local MSP and have a chat with them about it. So the Express goes on a totally bogus campaign, folks. Totally bogus campaign and a totally dishonest headline. What happened was when Rachel and Sir Kid Starver Granny Freezer cut off the winter fuel payment, the SNP stepped in. Couldn't they give the pensioners the full £200-300, but they got £100. That helped. And as soon as they knew they were getting the consequentials, John's announced that they're getting the money. Okay, but this is a bogus headline. Right, let's take that down. Next up, we should have the National. He says, what we got in the National this morning? Scotland is ranked in Europe's top 10 for foreign investment. Economy projected to outstrip our UK, France and Germany in 2026. So much for the claims that Scotland's an economic basket case, huh? And apparently John's going to tell us today that independence within reach, Swinney will say. He just won't fucking tell us how. Won't tell us how we're going to get to it if it's within reach. Vision of modern, dynamic and forward-looking Scotland to be set out in speech at conference. And according to John, and he's right, UK must constrain Israel over Iran. Aye, they need to. Because Iran is being targeted, and we're being told that they're targeting military installations. As far as I can tell, they're just firing indiscriminately into the place. Right, this next headline will illustrate what I mean when we talk about Israel's illegal aggression towards Iran. Israel warns Iranians to flee as deadly air raid continues. deadly air raids continue. Now, apparently they also put the fear of God up Iran by taking out their state broadcaster, or by bombing their state broadcaster. Now, I don't know about you guys. State broadcasters might be good at spreading state propaganda, but they're no military installations. So if Israel claims to have been striking military installations, why is it they hit the state broadcaster? And the byline there is a ethnicity of grooming gangs shied away from. I don't think, actually, to be honest, until with the rise of the right, anybody gave a fuck. What we wanted the cops to do was catch them and get them off the fucking streets, protect the children. I don't think anybody gave a shit about the ethnicity of the offender up until the rise of the right. Because the secret to the rise of the right is you have to have somebody to other. Now, in the UK, as I've pointed out, since Blair, they went specifically after 5 targets, but now they've found one they can stick it. Who were these 5 targets? We had the disabled, we had the young, we had the single mothers, we had the pensioners, and now we've got the ethnic minorities. There was always an undertone of ethnic minority there, but now they've decided they're going to stick on ethnic minorities the right. This is the white supremacists coming out. The race card being played. There are bad people of all colours, folks. Of all colours. But as I say, we're being played by the right. For the right to be successful, you have to other somebody. This is right out of the Nazi playbook, folks. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can go and have a look. You can go and have a look. Have a look at what Goebbels said at the Nuremberg trials. When he was asked, how was it you managed to get these people to go along with you? And he said that was easy. Just point them to an enemy and tell them that they behead babies and eat women. There you go. Unbelievable. Right, let's take that down. So, race is becoming a real issue thanks to the right, thanks to sensationalism in broadcasting, thanks to propaganda. And the reason why we're having this nonsense, Farage, the reason why we're having the othering of others, Farage, the right, the fascists have risen above their stations. And they have picked on the Asian population of the UK to other, to hate. They've picked on those who want to come here to other and hate. And they're encouraging the white majority to other and hate their black, brown brothers and pink brothers and sisters. They're stoking it. There will be trouble ahead, and there will be trouble ahead. And you're right, Stephen. This will implode if we don't fucking wake up. But I want you to be aware of this, folks. All that nonsense that we've had over the last couple of days of these grooming gangs and things like that. As Stevie Charlton pointed out, he went into the loop. These people are being othered to facilitate fascism. In order for the right to rise, they need to have a target for to be othered. And as I say, they've went through a few. They've settled on ethnic minorities. And when they're finished driving out the Middle Eastern, the Far Eastern, the Europeans who they've already driven out, They're coming for the Scots, the Welsh, and the Irish next. You fucking heard it here first. They're coming for us next. Because when they run out of people to other, they start turning within themselves to look for groups to other in order to keep the power, privilege, and patronage that they have achieved. And that is actually what we've been seeing with Farage and that mob. Look at what happened to the Fayyad family. How dare these black buggers, as the establishment would see them, become wealthy enough to fight with the establishment? That's not on. That's the innate racism in the establishment. With report after report after report tell us that the establishment is racist. And that those in power, privilege and patronage want to keep it that way. These are facts. These are no made up things. These are facts. Right. That's it for this morning. I have to say I'm disgusted with what I've read in the press. I'm disgusted with this display of othering that's went on since Farage, since Brexit, since the right really raised its ugly head here in the United Kingdom. Quicker be out of this fucking United Kingdom. Well, actually, the United Kingdom probably won't go for a wee bit while, a wee bit longer than what it will be when Scotland takes its independence. Because let's face it, the monarchy's not that important. We'll deal with that after we've sorted out the real fucking problems. But, as I say, when they run out of others to other, and they've driven them all out, then they'll turn on us. Look what they did to the Poles and the Europeans. They othered the fuck out of them until they were gone. Now we can't get an electrician or plumber or a fucking China. Anyhow, see you on tomorrow morning, 10:30. Keep your eyes on the prize. The prize this time is 2026. Look out for John's speech. I will be. Hit the like button. Be here tomorrow morning, 10:30. Don't be late or you're on the fucking naughty step.